Lori, in this swing report, I'm going to compare your swing to Grant Waite, who was a tour player during the 90s and considered by many as having one of the best swings in golf. He's now one of the top instructors for tour players. I'm going to begin at the impact position. It's the most important because everything the golf ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it curves, is all determined by impact, by the laws of physics and motion that exist at this moment of impact. The club's position at impact is what creates those laws of physics that the ball will respond to. Your body's position at impact is what determines your club's position at impact. And everything you do prior to impact has the sole purpose of arriving at a fundamentally sound impact position. The central goal of having a good impact position is to be able to transfer the maximum amount of your club speed to the golf ball so that you get maximum ball speed coming off the face of the club. In order to do that, you must hit the ball before you hit the ground. In order to do that consistently, you must have the low point of your swing consistently in front of the golf ball. The pros achieve this in two main ways. One is that they make sure that their weight they have the majority of their weight on their left side at impact. If we look at Grant, you can see that red line coming up from his left ankle, passing right through his belt buckle. So he definitely has the majority of his weight on his left side at impact. In fact, the average pro on tour will have 85% of their weight on their left side at impact. You definitely have more weight on your left side than your right side, but we might want to just try to squeeze a little bit more over on top of that left foot. The second thing the pros do in order to hit down on the golf ball and hit the ball before they hit the ground is they make sure their hands are in front of the golf ball before they hit the ball. And you can see on Grant, I've drawn the blue arrow straight down to the ground where his hands are, and those hands are in front of the golf ball. The red line is the shaft of the club. So Grant has what we call a shaft lean towards the target. What this accomplishes is that he's able to hit down into the golf ball with that shaft lean. Your hands are a little bit more on top of the golf ball, and you do not have much shaft lean. So what this means is that your club will be coming in a lot more shallow approach to the ball, and that's going to create opportunities to hit the ground behind the ball, and you'll hit both fat shots and thin shots. Now let's look at some of the positions prior to impact and identify some of those things that might be influencing your impact position. Here we are on the one position, the initial setup, and I'm going to start with from the ground up. I really like how you have set your stance. You've got both toes flared out a little bit, just like Grant does. So that's very solid. I really like that. It's going to really assist you in making a good swing here. I also like the nice straight line that you create with your left arm and shaft. That's very good. I'm not sure this camera angle is the same as Grant has, but it does appear that Grant has a little bit more shaft lean in the setup than you do. It may be that you could experiment a little bit with moving the golf ball back maybe an inch. This would create a little bit more shaft lean at address and also make it easier for your hands to get in front of the ball at impact. Your weight distribution at setup looks very solid. You want just a little bit more weight on your left side, maybe 55% to 45%, and you do have that. I'm now going to take Grant to the 3 position, and I want you to watch how he stabilizes his axis on that left side as he goes back. And when he gets the 3 positions, when the left arm is parallel to the ground, and you can see how he has kept his left hip and left shoulder on that red line as he comes back here, and that he maintains his weight on that left side right there. He's not falling into his right. I'm going to pull you back to the 3 position as well, and you have a tendency right in here to fall to the right. See how your head moves to the right? And you actually have more weight on your right leg now than you have on the left leg. Now, if we look only at your upper body, you're making a rotation with the upper body. I'm seeing a really good shoulder turn, but the lower body is almost seems locked up. You're not releasing and letting your right hip turn. You're not. You're almost. You've worked really hard and really well at keeping that uh, left foot flared out, and the left knee in a good position. But you're not. You're almost restricting its movement. You're not letting your hips turn so that you can turn around that left side. So I would like to see a little bit more hip turn off that left leg. And there's some drills you can do to learn that feeling right there. But to me, this is the key. When you get this far back, your low point is now moved way behind the golf ball. And so even though you had a good starting position with your low point in front of the golf ball, now that low point is behind the golf ball. And you're never going to get up in time at impact to put that club in a proper position so that you can have the correct impact position or to optimize the strike of the ball in order to maximize your ball speed coming off that club. So you're going to have difficulty being consistent at impact until you work on this 1 to 3 position and get to a 3 position that looks a little bit more like Grant. I've taken you now to the 9th position. This is when the right arm is parallel to the ground. The 9th position does not directly impact ball flight because the ball's already left the club, but it does provide some clues as to what may have occurred during impact. And one of the things I want to point out in Grant's position is that he has a nice straight line here. His both arms are extended and straight. His elbows are close to each other. Also, his left hand is underneath the right hand. His wrists are crossed there. So he has correctly positioned his wrist so that he can hinge his hands upward. The shaft will be hinged upward up higher than his arms. He's not going to cup the wrist. He's not going to fold the wrist left and right, but up and down. So he's positioned his hands to properly do that. Your left hand is above the right hand, and your right arm is bent at the elbow, so you're having some difficulty extending through the ball, which would decrease your club head speed. And so I'm a little bit suspicious that you might have your left hand, the grip of your left hand, that I'm concerned that the heel pad of your left hand is not on top of the handle to give you the proper leverage and fulcrum for the leverage. So I would like to see that left hand grip and see if modification of that will give you a lot more club head speed. To conclude, I would have you work on just a few of the pieces of the golf swing. One, I would like you to stabilize your golf circle so that you don't, the low point of your swing does not move behind the golf ball during your backswing. So I would work on developing the proper move from 1 to 3. The second thing is in properly sequencing your hands and arms through impact so that you can create a little bit more club head speed and get into this 9th position so that you can feel more relaxed and let that extension occur more naturally. It's possible that the grip of the way you hold the club is impeding that a little bit, and that would need to be checked. It's clear when I look at your swing that you have a super solid foundation of good fundamentals. We just need to move it forward and add a few more solid fundamentals. But you've got a great foundation to build on.